What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 1% Better podcast. In today's episode, we're going to explore how movement is more than just fitness. It's a powerful tool for both physical and mental well-being. Movement isn't just about working out, though. It's about healing, reducing stress, and building resilience. So today, we're going to dive deep into how movement serves as medicine for your body and your mind. Let's get it. All right, so welcome to today's episode. As you can see, I am repping some Eagles gear today since it is game day and I do bleed green, but I digress. Let's start with my road to recovery after brain surgery and how exercise wasn't just about increasing weight at the gym. It was about getting my life back, one small step at a time. I wasn't just looking to have the biggest muscles, nor did I ever have the biggest muscles, so that really didn't matter, but it was more to improve my mental clarity and sleep quality during my recovery, especially since recovery improves sleep quality up to 65%. I wanted to make sure that I was getting the most out of that, enhancing both physical and mental recovery for myself, doing everything I possibly could. I've always been a fan of reading books, as you can tell behind me, but I became keen on longevity and build it step by step. And I was fortunate enough to be given a book right after my brain surgery to read. It was called Outlive, The Science of Art and Longevity by Bttr. And the book focuses on the four horsemen that pretty much kill us all: cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and diabetes type 2. And it also focuses on moving from medicine 2.0 to medicine 3.0. With the increase in all of these plagues, as I'll call it, I wanted to do whatever I could to prevent them, both in my diet and also with exercise. And I found that just 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week can extend life expectancy up to 5 years, which is a staggering stat. But I want to pause for a second, and I want to ask everybody, how do you feel after you exercise? Think about it for a minute. How do you feel? I'll personally talk on it. I feel phenomenal. I feel that my body knocked off the cobwebs. I feel energized. I feel in a better mood. There's a massive connection between exercise and mental health. Movement really does reduce your stress, your anxiety, and depression. And that regular exercise can reduce symptoms of that depression up to 30% and also anxiety up to 50%. That movement boosts your endorphins. What they are natural mood lifters and reducing cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And that also improves your emotional regulation. I live in the Northeast, and we have some pretty cold winters. During the winter, it is critical to make sure that my body is moving a lot, because in the summers, it's very easy to go outside, go to the park, go on walks, runs, all of the above. But in the wintertime, you're not outside as much when it's 20, 30 degrees. So you really do have to come up with a plan in those areas to make sure that you're getting those exercises in. We're fortunate enough to have a Peloton. I like to use that in the wintertime. I like to make sure that I'm doing exercises in the house and just getting my body moving as much as possible. And that's the other piece of it. For people that work desk jobs or just working from home or in an office, it is a monster cognitive booster to be doing aerobic exercises, and it increases your memory center by 2%. That's improving memory and also your cognitive function. For this, I like to go on runs, walks, or bike rides. Those have been my personal top 3 that I enjoy, but I know that it's different for everybody else. I also found that physical activity promotes the growth of new brain cells, helping with focus and problem solving under pressure. I'll give a personal example here. If I ever have a really big meeting with my team or other leaders or just business meetings in general, I like to go on a half-hour walk or do some type of exercise before that meeting, because I feel so much sharper with answering questions, how I'm listening, and just interacting overall. And finally, I always am looking to build mental resilience. This is probably the one that I think about the most. How can I build mental resilience? Physical exercise trains the brain to embrace discomfort. It teaches persistence and discipline, which we're going to have an entire episode on, mirroring the ups and downs of life. One of my favorite quotes, be comfortable being uncomfortable. I come from the software world that is ever evolving, and you have to embrace change constantly, especially in startups, because we're figuring it out. We're building the plane as we're flying it. So you have to be uncomfortable in so many different situations. But that also then leads into the exercise world and making sure that you're using it as a medicine. But what that does is allows you to be uncomfortable in other situations. Regarding my recovery from brain surgery, when I pushed through challenging moments during recovery, I realized that the resilience I built in the gym was just as important as my physical recovery. I learned that we should use exercise as medicine. From Peter Attia's book, I found that movement helps manage chronic diseases, supports cardiovascular health, and also reduces the risk of diabetes, which are super important for us as we continue to age and get older, and not just rely on pills to solve these issues. We can solve it ourselves. Physical activity can reduce the risk of developing diabetes type 2 by 58%. Think about that number. That's massive just by moving your body and exercising, especially when it comes to healthy eating. When you add that in, it's a killer combination. Regular movement also helps insulin sensitivity and blood sugar levels, making it essential for diabetes management and prevention. And I think that's the most important message of all this. If we can prevent this just by exercising and doing the little things each day, just improving a little bit more, do it. That is so simple. It wasn't during a typical workout. In the weeks following my surgery, just going for short walks around the neighborhood, despite feeling drained after, and I had to take a nap, my energy levels were super low. It made a noticeable difference for my recovery to be quicker. Each step felt like a small victory and was helping me build resilience inside and out. It wasn't just on the outside, it was also the inside. Those early post-surgery strolls weren't just about performance. Actually, they weren't about performance at all, but it was about staying connected to the bigger picture of that longevity that I was shooting for. Moving a little every day, knowing it was helping my recovery and future health was what I had my mind on. And it's that steady effort that adds up. And that's what this whole brand is about, the 1% better, just adding a little bit each day, whether you're bouncing back from a health scare or just trying to feel a little bit better in your day-to-day. That is what we are focusing on. Keeping our bodies moving also reduces the risk of breast cancer 20 to 30%, and colon cancer 30 to 40%. These are staggering numbers, guys, and these are all coming from the National Cancer Institute, which is information that I want to take in, which is monster as we continue to age. But for busy professionals, I want to focus on you guys for a little bit and how you need to integrate movement into your routines, especially if you work at a desk job, you work in an office, or you work remote at home. Start small. Even 5 to 10 minutes of movement daily can lead to long-term habits and significant health benefits. Like I said, we are trying to just improve a little bit each day, and that compounds over time. If we can just get a little bit of movement in, you're going to be more sharp in your meetings day to day, especially if you're a leader. But even if you're an individual contributor, you're going to do much better when you're moving your body because your brain's going to be so much more active. Some ideas that I can give to you is taking a 10-minute walk during your lunch breaks or in between meetings, stretching in between meetings. This has been a monster one for me. I was as flexible as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So making sure that I'm stretching between meetings was super helpful for me, just keeping my body loose. And then quick home workouts or body weight exercises. It's not about running a marathon. It's about showing up every single day. And showing up is one of the hardest things for people to do. Small, consistent actions create lasting changes. Think about that. Small, consistent actions create lasting changes. And just reinforce the idea that every moderate movement can help with long-term resilience and disease prevention. So as we wrap up here, movement just isn't about staying fit. It's about healing, reducing stress, and preparing yourself to handle whatever life throws at you. Because life isn't just about the good times, it's also about the bad as well and getting through them. And if we can improve our health through exercise and also our diet, we'll be able to manage those situations much better than if we didn't do it. Treat it like it's your medicine. As much as we are so quick to go to the doctors to ask for the next pill that can help us out, treat exercise and the food that you put in your system like medicine, and you'll see a difference in both your body and your mind. What I'm going to ask out of everybody and challenge you on is, how can you make movement a regular part of your routine? Start today. Even if it's just a few minutes, your body and mind are going to thank you later. We're not just trying to go for instant gratification anymore. We're building for the long term here. Longevity. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Go Birds.